Pardon?
Daniel does that all the time, talks in military time.
Yeah. I was watching MASH one time, and Colonel Blake says, "Don't the military use ordinary time?"
All right, good morning. I'm going to call the finance meeting to order. Can I have a motion to approve the minutes of the last meeting, please?
You have that motion?
Can I have a second? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. I'm going to get right into the meat of the meeting today. We had a visitor. We had a visitor from our insurance company. I do not know the man's name. He met with,
Greg.
I'm sorry?
I think his name is Greg.
Greg? He comes every year. I'm going to talk, correct me if I'm wrong. He comes every year. He is the risk assessment manager. This year on his visit, he asked questions. We have posted, I believe we have it posted on our sign. I don't know if we have it in the lobby or not, about our events. So he asked the question, do you have events? Courtney responded, yes, we do. He said, I'm assuming you have coverage, insurance coverage for these events. And she said the village does. We had a party in the park last year, and yes, we did have special coverage for that. He said, what about any other entities that have events? And she said, no. He said, I'm not quoting him verbatim, that's a no. That's a no-go. We cannot do that. Events from other entities that happen in our village have to have insurance. I will fast forward to the food trucks. Are the food trucks registered? No. They don't pay a fee. They don't go to our website. They don't register. That's not good. They have to go to our website and they have to register. They don't have to pay the fee, but they have to go in there and they have to register. So,
Is that because of the food license, like the health
that is
department?
because of the food license, that is food permits, food awareness, food whatever. I was not part of that conversation, so I'm going to speak and then I'm going to let you speak, okay? If you don't mind, because we are going to get a letter. We are going to have to bring it to council. This is council's fault. This is council's fault. Council has let this happen. There have been those that have been saying for a long time, we need all of these entities in the village that should have insurance, and we have not enforced that. So shame on council, okay? I discovered last year at Party the Park, we have to have special insurance for special events. I don't care if it is I don't care what the event is, if it's a food truck event, if it's a block party, if it's I don't care what the event is, we have to have insurance. Anytime you have an event advertised in our village where people are going to be coming and gathering, we have to have insurance. Now that we know this is an awareness, okay? This is an awareness that this has to happen. I will be bringing this up to council at our next meeting for a vote, and any events after that point in time have to have coverage. Food trucks have to be registered, okay? What you do with the fee is up to you. It's apparent that you're not going to charge them a fee. You've already voted on it. That's a moot point. Now, I'm going to take it to the floor and ask what questions you have.
I have some comments.
Yes, ma'am.
I want some clarification.
Sure.
Because I don't buy this performative.
Okay, I don't care if you buy it or
Okay,
not.
well,
It's
I'm gonna
fact.
Let me speak.
Okay.
Okay. It's very performative. You've already, ahead of time, kind of shown
Awareness.
your hand that you want insurance for, let's say, Christmas.
No, I don't want it.
Okay.
Our insurance company does.
You did approach me after Christmas in the village, and you said a gentleman fell on our streets.
He did.
And you wanted to know if my group, MSOCA, had insurance for him falling on the streets. Okay, so first off, I said, well, that was a co-event, it was a village event as well. And that, I could show you many examples of how it's a village event. The tree committee participated and gave things away. The village participated by hanging the signs and blocking the streets and approving all the food trucks and vendors and their places and everything. So it was a co-event. So we assumed, because I have been with Courtney before when she has called the insurance agent years ago about different things. And if it's a village event, we are covered under this umbrella. Now, if they're telling us now, did you speak to the insurance guy?
I did not.
Okay.
No,
That was
I
you.
did.
Okay. So at the time, it was said, and again, this was years ago, probably
Yeah.
5, that if it were a village event, then the village's insurance would cover it. Okay? So I question a couple of things. Party in the park, because you told me, I thought I turned that off. I did, but it's still dinging. That the Legion had insurance, so therefore the community association should have had insurance for Christmas in the Village at Party in the Park. Well, there's a huge difference. Party in the Park had to have alcohol into a non-allowable place, so they had to get special permission for that part of the puzzle. And then, of course, they had alcohol, and they had to insure themselves because of that, because we would not be liable for anything like that. So that's a whole nother ball of wax. So with that said, the food trucks do carry their own, excuse me, they carry their own insurance, they carry their own licensure, and those are all verified when they come, and they always have been.
Can we get copies of the records on that?
Absolutely.
That'd be
I will do
perfect.
that.
Okay, let's
So
do
you
that for,
want,
yeah, turn them into Courtney so that we can keep a file of them.
copies of license and
Food inspection,
insurance?
food inspection and insurance, please.
Yes.
Perhaps that would go some ways of, like, mollifying the insurance company. I don't know.
I'm sure it would. Because if you want to think about something, I'll tell you, if we insure the food trucks that are up inside, if the Mount Sterling Community Association would insure those, because we've looked into it because of how you approached me before about Christmas in the Village. And when we did look into that, because it's not at one location, because you have them at a couple of different spots, the insurance on that, if you wanted to get a separate policy, which we're not doing anything out there, we're not, I mean, there are food trucks that have their own insurance, there's businesses that have their own insurance, and then there's the Village of Mount Sterling that have streets and have their own insurance. So everybody is covered. If someone would fall on Urban Pineapple, that would be on her. If someone would fall on our streets, just like any other day of the week, that would be on us. It'd be different if we had bounce houses, absolutely. We're imposing risk there. But with that said, we looked into that, and it was $600 for us just to carry a separate policy for people to walk around our town, and we would not be able to afford that. We're a nonprofit. We make no money off of this. Every bit of money that we make goes back into the village in some way. That's our whole existence. It all has to go back into the Village of Mount Sterling and for building our community. So, with that said, and just like Christmas in the Village, and this was something I was just our meeting last week challenged with to come talk to Andy about Christmas in the Village specifically, to ensure that the village has insurance for our event.
So,
Because they,
no, we will not be covering it separately. So our coverage doesn't extend to that. So I think Joyce made the point that the man was pretty clear that separate event coverage has to happen.
okay,
It's
well,
It's not for us, it's for you guys.
Yeah.
And so the short answer is they can deny, and then there's no coverage, and you guys are on the hook.
We are at risk of losing our insurance.
So I don't know, I think we're getting slightly off track here,
no,
but.
we're not getting off track at all.
But
I'm
the
still- I
point
still
is,
have the floor.
okay, the point, well, we're all having a conversation here, and so we can make points at points. So what I'm struggling to understand is your general view, as I hear it, is that your organization doesn't feel the need to get insurance.
No, that's not true.
Okay,
We absolutely will get insurance for anything we do on the streets when we have vendors. We absolutely will have insurance on our building when it opens, and we absolutely would have insurance if we brought rides or, anything like that. Now, at Christmas in the Village, when we brought the petting zoo and the wagons, they had their own insurance. And I understand what you're saying, and we would be happy to if we need to have a special amount, a rider or something, but we feel on certain events, especially Christmas in the Village, it is Christmas in the Village, and it is a village event too that we help put on. I mean, you can be the first mayor with no Christmas, or
We're not
we can-
debating whether we should have
Yeah,
Christmas.
we-
We're debating whether we should have insurance coverage. This is
understand
not,
that.
this is a very
But
straightforward
I
thing.
do know, because I have been with Courtney before, that she can call the insurance and say, the village is having an event, which is Christmas in the Village, on December the 5th, from 5 to 8. Just wanted to let you know, she can do that.
We did that with Party in the Park.
Right.
And they said, no, you have to have special event insurance
For,
for the party in the park.
For
The
the
alcohol,
alcohol part
no
of it?
ma'am. Alcohol was $800,
Okay.
paid for by the Legion.
let me ask you this, right, I know that. I know
Okay.
it was paid for by them, but Party in the Parks was sponsored by the village.
Right.
If you pay that out of your own pocket, you're a fool.
I didn't. The
okay.
village paid it.
Okay, that's all I'm saying. It was a village event. The village has to get a special rider or whatever for that event, and that's what I'm saying for Christmas in
And
the
any
Village as
other,
well.
we're not talking about Christmas in the Village,
Well, I
Becky.
am.
Okay, well, we're not. We're talking about all events from another entity. These events you're having, First Fridays, they're fantastic, but you have to have, the MSOCA has to have special event insurance for each and every one of them. We can address Christmas in the Village when Christmas in the Village comes. I don't know what Finance Committee's going to approve as far as insurance goes. I don't know how much it's going to be, and I don't know that we can afford it.
When did we have this talk with the insurance guy?
2 weeks ago,
2 weeks
Okay.
ago.
So you know what would have been really nice?
it would have.
If I would have had a heads
It
up.
would've.
It would have been nice.
No one did.
But
Okay, we're just now learning
But I
this.
don't
who
think,
put it on the agenda?
I did.
Okay.
I just found out about it. Don't put your
Today?
finger.
This-
I just found out about it.
Wait, my finger?
Yeah, we don't need this, so we're gonna
Okay,
move
so I
on.
Back
think
at-
we're speculating.
We're gonna
okay?
move
So
on.
I
You're
think
right.
What needs to happen, that's when the official letter needs to be in
Yes,
village
we're
hands.
waiting for that.
So I think speculating and assuming and
Right.
thinking and assumptions and things like that, is probably just starts an argument as it has already happened.
Exactly.
Okay, so I feel like having the official letter, I do not have that at this point.
Mm-hmm.
So, he actually went out and inspected the playground area. There is an issue with the handicap swing that's currently out there. There is, there either could be a long laundry list of items that a council needs to address, or they don't need to address. So I think, for argument's sake, and to remain professional and to remain as adults, is that until the official letter comes into hand, then council needs to take an action.
Yes.
Okay, I would like to say, we can remain adults and have disagreements. We do not need chastised and told that we're not adults and we're not professionals, because we are, but we can have disagreements.
Okay,
Shaking hands and
all
assuming
right,
that,
let me
that
say
sort of thing
this.
is.
Let me say
childish, in
this.
my opinion.
This is just an awareness, that's all it is. No one's telling anybody what they have to do or what they don't have to do, but this is coming down the pike. Council will make the decision, but I'm telling you, the gentleman said, we are at risk of losing our insurance at the village. Is that not correct?
Okay, so he did not say that to me. He did not say losing your insurance. I think it's more of a liability standpoint,
Okay.
is that at some point, somebody can get sued.
Okay, thank you for
So either
correcting
that
me.
is,
And the
either
claim will be-
person,
the
the
point that-
company, the municipality,
Okay.
whoever.
yeah, the point is that we will not have coverage, is the word you're looking for. So
Okay.
if we are, in the event, we are sued for some
Okay.
thing that occurs during an uninsured event, we should not expect our general liability policy to have coverage for these things, and therefore it will be denied.
And who would be responsible then for liability? Would it be the village or who would it be?
So I have a question.
It would
Oh,
be
let's
the
answer-
an-
let's
the
answer
the
Let's
answer
answer
to your
David's
qu-
question.
Yeah, the answer to your question is
you.
most likely the village.
the village, yeah, which isn't really fair.
Okay.
Well, that's why you buy insurance.
Right.
That's the whole point. It's
Right.
a risk transfer.
So with that said, these events that are being brought to our town for the whole community and for no one's profit, there's an option
That's why
to
we're-
talk to the insurance company and tell them, we're having a food truck Friday. And see what they say and see what the cost is through the village as well, because it would probably be 10 times cheaper that way than through a personal new policy.
I don't know, I'm not an
No,
insurance.
I'm just telling you that we could also, that is an option.
I'm not sure that it is, but anyway. Did you want to, Nathan has a,
Yes, sir.
Can you
state
please
your name and
Nathan Pitzer, 93 Jefferson Street. The only issue I would see with that would be the fact that MSCO, for example, or whatever, is not a part of the village. It's two separate entities, so using the village insurance doesn't make any sense. I don't understand how that could work.
We're opening a can of worms that we would have to do that for everyone.
That's not true. How that would work is you would just co-sponsor the event. And MSOCA is just trying to build Mount Sterling. We are not getting anything from it. If we don't do it and have these food truck Fridays, and I know for a fact, when we have movie night, we don't go and get special insurance. But we have 10 to 100 kids out there, we don't get special insurance. But I know for a fact we are covered.
It's because the village sponsors that.
the
Right.
village operates the
Just like
event.
they sponsored
Right.
Party in the Park. That's what I'm saying.
But it was a special event.
So is movie night.
What about the Eagles and the Tri-County Youth League? They're both
They have,
using the park.
yes.
They're both community events. There would be no youth league if it wasn't for those two entities.
Right.
The village don't do it, but they have to have their own insurance.
They do have their own insurance for the children. They're not insuring the park, they're insuring the safety of the kids for sure.
The park, yes.
Right.
So same thing with any event down here, if there's injuries within the village, that's not,
But there's a huge difference. No one's swinging bats and things like that. It's a whole, I mean, we can try to turn this into something it's not and do that, and that's fine. We'll just, if the village isn't willing to work with the events that are only here to build the village, you're cutting off your nose to spite your face, and the events will stop, is what will happen.
I think the village has done a lot to work with
Well, that's your
organization
opinion.
because of the fact, and I was part of it as well, the food trucks, waiving the fees, that way your guys don't have to cover any of that crap. I think that was great. I think bringing the food trucks in for the community, great. I have no problem with working with you guys. I have a problem when liability comes in.
I understand that, but what we would have a problem with if we brought food trucks just for the community and we had to pay $600 to bring the food trucks, why would we do that? That would make no sense financially. We would be losing money at every event, and there goes money to buy flowers, there goes money to sponsor movie nights, I mean, it would make no sense. The reason you do events is to help the community, and possibly some events are to raise money to help the community in the future. So it would make no sense to lose $600 on insurance of food trucks that already have their own insurance. And you're telling me, well, you have to insure the streets because people are gonna be walking on it? They're allowed to walk on it from 5 to 8 anyway. If I'm walking to Raps to buy his sleds that are on sale, and I fall and I break my leg, who am I suing? Am I suing the village?
Okay.
Am I suing Raps for having the sale and me on my way there? It's
Okay.
bizarre.
Thank you. Thank you both. But I'm going to ask you a question.
Yes.
Are you here representing the MSOCA or the village?
I am here, obviously, representing the village.
Okay.
But I'm also here, the only people you are speaking to, I mean, you're talking about MSOCA on this event coverage. You
I'm
gave me
talking, no, ma'am. No, ma'am. I'm
Yes,
talking about
ma'am.
all entities, all
I understand
businesses,
what you're
anyone
saying,
that
but you
has
brought up
events
the
in the
food trucks,
village.
You brought up Christmas in the
As an
village.
example.
Right, and that's all there is.
Okay.
There's no one else who does community
We just need to be
events downtown.
clear that when we're sitting in this chamber, we are representing the village.
Listen, I don't need you to tell me what I need to do.
Please, stop.
No, you stop.
Now, we're going to move on. I have done what I was asked to do. I made the awareness that this might come down the pike, or it will come down the pike as an issue for event coverage, and council is going to have to vote on it. Okay? We will discuss it at a later time. I appreciate everybody's comments. We'll work together on this to the best of our capability with the insurance company to serve the village the best we can, the most economical way we can, that works out the best for everyone. So the next thing on our agenda is the utility aggregation. I have done some research based on Frank Spradlin, who has given us, and I did print it out, but I didn't bring it with me. But I have it in my emails. He has given us so much information. This is for, and again, Courtney, I know that he's copied me on your emails. And he's very passionate about us presenting to the village the option to have another resource for utilities to make them more expensive, which I believe would be something that we would work with PUCO. I have received information from our solicitor, and honestly, he's not in favor of this. This is a bad time to do this. The rates are too high. He doesn't think we'll get good deals. And if people want to do this, they can actually go out on their own and do this by going to the PUCO. I believe there is information that we can put out in the lobby. Periodically, we can bring it up at council like we did not last night's meeting, but the meeting before that. There are things that we can do to make the public aware of it.
Well,
But-
maybe it would be helpful to give a little background as to what the idea is.
Sure.
So the idea itself with rate aggregation is that members of the community band together and they all go to a utility provider and basically say, hey, we want to act as one bargaining unit and get a deal on our individual gas, electric, fill in the blank rates. Electric utility in Ohio is separated into two pieces: the distribution arm, which is where we would be getting, and the generation arm, which is wholly separate. So a generator, and then like AEP is the actual distribution. So most recently, the price hikes have come in the distribution part. So the generation has been relatively steady, but the distribution part has been really, really expensive because the demand is pretty high at this point. And so the idea is we all get together and we have a sort of a group buy like you would at Sam's Club or something, and then you'd get a better deal on your overall rates. In return, you have to lock in for typically 3 years, and you agree to pay essentially what market rate would be at the end of 3 years if you don't renew. So you revert back. And so what that tends to do is it creates a stair step where it's very level for 3 years and then is pretty giant hike after the third year. So either you have to go back to market and renegotiate again, or you're going to, in this case, our residents are going to have a pretty giant price hike.
Right.
So what the Public Utilities Commission of Ohio does is, because Ohio has competitive utility rate marketplace, individuals do not need to band together necessarily. They can go out onto the public marketplace. This is where I think you're going, and they can individually sign up for the equivalents of these, which is offered by third-party providers like IGS and other people other than AEP, although AEP has their own too. And you can essentially shop around. The idea is you shop around and get the best deal based on what you can. And so in general, rate aggregation, I don't think it's necessarily a bad idea. What has been a problem in other communities is that it does tend to lock down ratepayers a little bit. There are ways to opt out, but they make it fairly difficult to opt out. And at the end, there has been, as our friends in London have found out, putting our solicitors' comments aside, Grove City does this as well. It has been an okay deal. It just hasn't been like an awesome, fantastic deal.
Right,
And
that's
so
what
I think
Stephen said.
the point that our solicitor was making is that for all of the requirements in order to get rate aggregation in place, is that worth it over simply asking residents to go out and shop for another provider that's available to them
Right.
today. And that is sort of the question. And so I think that anything that helps with rates is a good thing that helps with rates. Me personally, I am concerned if I want to go a different direction and I can get a better
Andy,
deal.
I got a question. Is this all connected with the PUCO? And, yeah, and I think right now, though, with the inflation rates, the way they are right now, just like fuel now.
Yeah.
Fuels went real high,
Yeah,
and they
yeah.
said natural gas is gonna go up another 20%.
Yeah.
So right now, there'll be a hard time. Then you got the crisis in the Middle East.
Yeah.
And so that's.
Yeah, so some of it's
it all rides
unpredictable.
on what
Yeah,
happens,
so
you
some
know,
of it's
I always
unpredictable.
wonder about that.
But we would have to do this, the way I understand it from Stephen is that we can't just adopt it. There may need to be a ballot or certainly an application process to put the rate aggregation in place. It's not as simple as adopting. The ordinance is part of it, but that's not the only part. There has to be a public tender, and there needs to be like it's a fairly involved thing to do.
Right.
So that's all I'm giving you all the backstory of as to what we're really talking about.
And I remember, and I'm going back a lot of years, this used to be a really good thing, really good thing. Yeah, and I remember 30 years ago, we used to do it.
See, I have people.
But I
come to-
wouldn't do it now.
I didn't mean to interrupt you, Joyce, but I've had people come to the house, though, about your rates. They'll come to your house, they'll come there and they'll say, well, you got so much rate for you if you go this way on your budgets or do this and that. Well, I just never have done that. I just go with what I flat out without doing that. And it seems like everybody I talked to, they said, yeah, they said your percentages are going up.
Yeah, by default,
Yeah.
you wouldn't have that happen anymore if you went rate aggregation, and instead, everyone would essentially be opted in unless they raised their hands and they said, I don't want to participate. And so the idea is that you get 800, in our case, 1,000 utility rate payers, and you essentially go to a wholesaler and try to get a better deal after you approve the rate aggregation program. So it's a multi-step process. You don't just pass it on 3 readings and call it a day. It is a fairly involved procedure. So
I know IG
I say we should involve it, maybe look into it further and see what the actual benefits and hard numbers would be. I mean, we can ask. So we currently have a wholesale provider for the village's electricity and natural gas. And we could ask them if there's any, what they currently would do in terms of rate aggregation if we signed up 1,000 folks. And just get just for budgeting purposes, we could do that.
Is there a way, Andy, we could bring a representative here from?
Well, that's what I
from
think
them?
Courtney
Yeah.
would, if Courtney would agree to do that, I think that's what she would be
We
doing.
need a
was
representative.
bringing that
to rep-
person
and
in.
then
Yeah,
talk
I
to
don't
council.
think you need to go that, I mean, you can, certainly, there's no problem. The guy was very nice, that we use. But I think it's as simple as getting a model and
Okay.
having a
I was wondering
spreadsheet
that.
sent over saying,
Okay.
hey, if you all aggregated, this is what the kilowatt per hour in case electricity would be.
And then we could compare it with our bills.
And you can compare it with what the average default, which is the market rate today per kilowatt hour that
Okay.
AEP distribution is charging.
Okay.
You can just, you just can
Courtney, is that
compare
something
it.
you'd be willing to do?
Now, is natural gas involved in this too?
It can be. It depends on what we want. Gas is also on the open market as well. There are alternative providers of gas. So there's all of that. I guess we could talk about all of that, but I think if I understand it from Mr. Spradlin, it's electricity to start.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I know I had a representative come to the
That's
house
all I've
from
heard.
IGS and
Yeah.
a couple other companies, so
Yeah.
they come through.
Yeah, IGS is a wholesaler and aggregator and does all the above, whatever you want, and that's why we happen to have a working relationship with them today, and so why not? I mean, we got nothing to lose by just asking. We're pondering this and see whether or not it makes material fiscal sense to do that.
Okay. Great. Courtney, thank you for doing that. We'll just look for a report next month. So far on anything we've talked about, does anyone have any questions? Okay, moving on. Emergency Water Fund on Market Street. Courtney, would you like to elaborate on that one?
Yeah, sorry, I'm trying to write this down.
You're fine.
Okay. So we had a call that came in from a resident that there was water in their backyard, on Market Street. So we went out, assessed it. It looks like, not sure who the contractor is, because I don't handle that part of it, of when an OOPS ticket is drawn out on a map and they request us because they must be either fiber optic, say it's Spectrum, say it's, AT&T, whoever that is. They must have hit and bored through somebody's, or through a service lateral down the alley. So at 11:30 at night on a Saturday night, I get a phone call of, hey, we fixed part of it, but it's still, something's still seeping up in the backyard. So an unexpected cost, obviously. That's why we have emergency water monies that I reserve to fix problems like this. So we had our crew, I think there was 2 of them that were out. And then we had a contractor that came out and was able to help fix the line. We went back out the next morning because once they fixed one line, on the other side was water that was ponding as well in the person's backyard. So it was sort of a 2-day event that had occurred. And I just wanted to bring it to your guys' attention that it was an unexpected expense, but it was fixed, and that I'm taking it out of the emergency fund, which is the purpose of having that fund.
Do we know how much it was?
It was right around $4,600.
So,
That was
Okay,
just
not devastating,
costs
but
for contractor
enough.
services, doesn't include village pay people.
Courtney, now, could you prove though it was done by one of these groups like the?
We're working on
Cable
that.
So I asked
Mo-
Andy
More,
that-
more to come. The short answer is that we're not done investigating who did it, and so we need to make sure we can pin it on them. We've been very successful at recovering money. We create itemized billing, and anytime our village employees and our equipment is used, we bill them for it.
Yep.
So if they do it on purpose, if they're installing something on, on purpose and they hit our line by accident, it doesn't really matter. Either they fix it or we get paid to do
I
that.
had a neighbor had his sewer line cut up the street, well, Andy, you probably know
Yep.
who I'm talking about. And the company, I think it was the one that's going around now, Bright Speed, wherever it is.
Yeah, they make them,
did
they
come
make
and
them, they
fix it.
do, they
It's
do.
like, oh,
They just take a long time, and unfortunately, our residents are impacted by it, and they're really slow to get things done. And what I don't appreciate is the fact these guys, whoever did it most likely knew that they did it, and then they just kind of like drove away. And so, yeah, that's not cool, and we shouldn't expect that sort of level of performance. So they'll get a bill.
Yeah.
We'll figure it out.
Again,
Well, they'll
just
get a bill.
Sounds good,
We
yeah.
pay for it, just so we're clear on how.
Yeah,
the
we,
payment
we front all of the money.
I just
pay for
wanted to check
first.
and see.
Yeah. So we're going to be looking into that, like Andy said, I think we've been pretty successful in recovering the monies that we have. I mean, and it goes down to the guys' times, call-outs and things like that.
Equipment
So
use, all of it.
we just try to follow the track of who it was.
Yeah, I
and
saw
try to
all the
cover it.
equipment up there the other day.
That
It
was
was quite a
late.
thing, yeah.
It was late when they were out there,
Yeah.
so we thank the guys for doing that, because, in a time of need, if I had that issue in my backyard, and say you're experiencing low water pressure, or, you've got, ponding in your backyard, as a village, we should be
Oh, yeah.
attending to that, so that's already been taken care of, so it's good on that part.
okay, and I meant to bring this up at Streets last night and didn't get to it, so, but that's good, that's fixed. Thank the guys. Council certainly does appreciate that. Does anyone have any other outstanding items for finance that they want to bring up?
I just have that silly microphone issue again.
Okay.
I've just been getting mixed messages. I know, like, I requested it back in January, and we're in mid-April. I just want to know, Joyce just said right before the meeting that we possibly might get something that hangs down. We have a microphone. Did we buy a microphone? Did we not buy microphones? Are they supposed to be the kind where people can sit at the table and speak into them?
So just to be clear, council did not authorize overhauling our AV system. They authorized a microphone. So I am investigating what the appropriate solution is for that. This is professional level equipment. The average cost of a microphone is about $400. I don't think we just, ready, fire, aim on a microphone until we know that it's going to work with our existing setup, because our existing setup was really expensive. And so I have located the old microphone, which used to be out here, and I see that the receiver is still plugged into the existing setup, and if I can make it work, we'll try working with that microphone, and then if council would like to allocate some money, we'll get a study done by Jason Sheehy or somebody who did, I believe, our original wiring, and then we'll buy a new system or something like that. So there's where we are.
But first, we have to get a cost.
Yeah, I mean, we do it like any other purchase, right? So that's
I
the thing.
understand that, but, I mean, it's been months, and we did say we wanted all the committees recorded.
I mean, these
For instance-
microphones work fine. I mean,
They
we're
do,
shortage
but
of
like
microphones.
today, there's a committee of 7 for trees, and then there's you and Courtney and, and, excuse me, if Nathan wants to chime in and talk at that meeting too, who can hear him out there?
You can come up here.
Or we can
well-
repeat the question. I mean,
I know, but it's a very simple ask that just needs a direct fix. It's not rocket science, and, I would just like, for that to happen.
And I agree with you, Becky, and you're absolutely right. It's not, but it's still an expense that we are trying to avoid. It really is. I guess we would ask that we go ahead and get the microphone tested, get it out here,
Yeah,
let's get it
yeah.
done, and see if we can move forward with that, part of it. We have a microphone that I use at Party in the Park,
yeah.
Yeah, I do use it at Party
That one is wired, and
Oh, okay.
we do have a wireless one. And
Okay.
we have a setup, and I have located it, and just need to work with Courtney on
Okay.
doing what she does magically with the YouTube, so that
Well, I'm not
it all
sure about
it all integrates together.
About
So
the IT stuff.
I
so
know
we're,
for our rock
you
and
know,
roll band, we have a wireless system where we hook up and you
Yeah.
don't even need that.
Yeah.
But in the old days, about where Nathan was sitting, there used to be a stand on microphone. That was early in my career. And then if they had somebody, they would come and speak in the mic. And well, Courtney, you remember toward
I
telling
do remember that. There was a stand there, like a rock and roll stand.
The last
Okay.
thing I would ask about is, last month, we talked about that grant that
Mm-hmm.
Courtney, secured us, and I believe it was for security systems.
Yep.
Within, the offices
Right.
here. Do you have any new information? Is that?
I'm still waiting for Misty to give me some details on what maybe the type of computer, because now she's mobile, so I think she's been sort of busy with training the new person.
Yeah.
So that is on my agenda to see if she has gathered any information. Yes.
Okay. I don't think she's like, doesn't want it tomorrow.
Okay.
I don't know that she's in a big rush for it. But she
But
does
it
need it.
affected other offices too, didn't it?
Not mine, because mine's the state
You
computer.
said Andy's office, it could have.
He, I think, uses his own laptop.
yeah, I don't use ours. Yeah.
Okay.
I brought mine.
Okay, so, we're in the black on things, right?
Yep.
According to what I saw in the finance report. Does anyone have any questions on finance, the reports that you saw, anything coming down the pike? All right, then we can move forward with signing POs. We would need to move down here, I believe.
All right, so if you guys want to, I don't know, if it's
Down the
you
table.
over there, because there's more people over there. So what I have here, not a lot than what you guys signed the last meeting.
I know we had a handful.
Yeah, these ones are the three, like the blanket certificates, which expire every 3 months.
Did you say
So
you want
this
us
is what
down
you guys
there,
have.
Joyce?
You want to sit at the table?
Well, you guys want to just stand right, I mean, there's not a lot. because
Okay.
In case you guys have conversation.
Is that it?
Yeah. So in case you have conversation, it's good for the public to hear that if there's any questions, so. I
Okay.
think sitting down there, you won't be able to hear anything unless you're standing up here.
Okay.
So Joyce, if you want to,
I'll come.
I'll sit here and I'll walk down here and show you guys. Okay. All right, so I have, there's a couple that are new on here from our last meeting, which was the All Skates. This was just the donational amount for the parking lot
Okay.
at the park. That's
Okay.
gonna be started in May, so we are on the list to have
Okay.
that taken care of.
I would just like to also add that we secured a donation of $425 this morning from Golden Corral for a movie.
That's good. Okay,
I-
so this is chemical. I think I said at the last meeting is that I found another vendor that is gonna give us cheaper,
Better rates?
chemicals costs.
Okay.
So this is,
Okay.
a current vendor we already have set up for chlorine. And then all three of these are for our local vendors. Like I said before, these expire every 3 months. So, these are for the different water, sewer, street. And I will give these all to you at the same time. But again, you do
All of them just one
take
page?
these, yep,
Okay.
you do get
Wanted to
those
make sure.
updated every 3 months.
Okay.
And they don't have to be in order, so whenever you guys.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks, Andy.
Here we go. Looks like just all the basics on the way I looked at it, like Courtney said.
Okay, so this next one here are, supplies for the water plant.
Okay.
This is chemicals, chlorine.
I go to concerts instead of car chemical, but
All right, and then this one here. And then this one was for, did you guys notice that there was a pothole repair there on 56 in front of the Methodist Church?
yeah,
Church.
Okay.
yeah.
So this
What'd they do
is,
it with?
the cold patch.
Cold patch?
Yes.
So that's a good test.
Yes,
This only one page?
yes.
Okay.
This is for gloves that they needed. Just so you guys know, I think I'll report this also at the water, meeting as well, is that, remember we were gonna put that camera down in there to see if there was a collapse?
Shipping was more than the item.
That there was a collapse
Yeah.
in the line. We were able to get in there with the camera, and good news is it's not a collapse. So
I wouldn't either.
what we would do is basically the grant can go forward, so, which is good news, because it did save the village $60,000.
Anything save money, that's true.
I was on the street.
So these were tires that need to be put onto the mower, within the
Yeah.
budget, obviously. And this is the cold patch that Andy was talking about. This is a new vendor that I set up, so,
Okay.
that's the cold patch.
Okey doke.
So the product on that one was $175 and the shipping was $185?
Yep.
We can't order from anywhere else?
That's a general, one that we've always used. Yeah, we can see if we can try to order. But with water and sewer supplies, there's only a couple, like, Hawk and Associates. There's also, Ranger that we can try and go through.
They're more local, aren't they?
No,
Oh.
yeah, they're shipping out of Chicago on most of these.
I used my coupon though at the Golden Corral the other day, got the Legion.
All right, is there
It
any
was
other
good.
questions here that we need to?
I don't have any.
Okay.
I got me a big,
Let me know when you're adjourning the meeting.
Meeting adjourned. What time is it?
I got 10:45.
Yep, 10:44. All
That's
right, and Joyce, can
QFM
you
time.
sign this, please, the minutes? Shut the camera off.
I gotta get over to the museum. Becky, you have a good day now.
You too, David.